A very good morning to you this very lovely day. Welcome to Democracy Now! Across Nigeria, there's been different elements that have been showing up in Nigeria's democracy, with the prospect of remodifying and coming up with Nigerian problems to various, coming up with Nigerian solution to various problems. Getting the best of this is what we would find from different demographics of people making an attempt to make sense of where we find ourselves. From the young people to the old people and to all kinds of people, all advocating for some sort of change and difference well deserved by 180 million people and more across Nigeria. Democracy Now! Today examines the movements, the social movements as documented by different people across the country. One of the major movements in the last few months that has made a lot of difference and has brought about different people to respond in the most meaningful way they can will have to be the Not Too Young to Run movement. The Not Too Young to Run movement has been a cause that has been embraced, accepted, advocated for, and responded to by different people in different ways. People in government, people outside of government, and more importantly, the larger populace, where a large number of that is made up of young people. In Rivers State, for example, where President Muhammadu Buhari was described as a state with the highest tendency to be violent during elections, the young people there have responded in their own way, gathering together for a movement and advocating for a change, especially on the eligibility of who can run and who should be part of office. Joining me this very morning is Chiefson Nwaiwu. I hope I got your name right.
Yes, very right.
He is the coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement in River State, and he's with me this very morning. There's a lot you do. Good morning and welcome to the show on Democracy Now!
Good morning.
Yes, there's a lot you do. I'm sure there was a lot you were committed to in River State before now.
Sure.
When I say committed to, I could only start to imagine that when you say Not Too Young to Run movement in River State, before people gathered, before those young people were able to come together, they did come from different places. What do you think the young people were about in their various groups, in their various units, in their various disposition before they decided to turn around and dedicate some good time to the likes of the Not Too Young to Run movement in River State?
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi. Thanks for having me here in your studio this morning. I so much appreciate. It's a duty we owe ourselves as Nigerian youths to get it right. It's called for action. Over in River State, it's been a hell of passion for the Nigerian youth. You can see the zeal, you can see the passion, you can see the enthusiastic nature of the Rivers youth in this cause of the Not Young to Run. They're very much inquisitive. Starting from when the campaign was launched, we've had series of commitment with CSOs, FBOs, and youth organizations in the state who has joined the movement within a short period of time. So apparently, if you give it a little more space, we're going to have millions of youth joining this particular cause, which is Not Young to Run. As that is me, we have in River State constituted 18 members who are championing this cause for the Not Young to Run team in River State, who are working tirelessly to ensure that when the bill finally comes to the floor of the River State House of Assembly, it sees the light of the day. And I can tell you that the River State House of Assembly are full in support of this bill. They have given us 110%, permit me to say that, to support the bill when it comes to the floor of the House. Very soon, history will be made. The attention will be drawn back to the state level. It calls for more advocacy, more work. I'm also encouraging other states that have not yet joined the cause of this movement to come together and make it a worthwhile. I will also appreciate the other state coordinators who are working tirelessly to ensure that in the state level we have a yes.
So let's look at the political landscape in River State, for example. The political landscape in River State for over a decade now has permanently, I use the word, permanently been locked within some key characters. From the former governor, who, by the way, had served as Speaker of the House, State House of Assembly in River State, and then did go on to become the governor. And then, well, is now a minister. I'm referring to Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, who is now a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, at the same time, was his chief of staff at some point in time, Yes Wike, who also served alongside with him. But many of the characters of the political landscape in River State, despite the fact that they may have different party orientation, are queued up differently behind these two major characters, either based on the fact that they control some amount of resources or they control some level of influence. But then one would ask, do you think that the political landscape in River State, peradventure, will be ready in 2019 for a young person to possibly venture into politics, an elected position in office?
Okay, personally on that, in Nigeria, we're free to belong to any group. We have freedom of association. The fact that the River State is the case study in this discussion still remains that the River State is a youth-friendly government. Presently and before, the lines of Rotimi Amici, he was a young person when he came into government. The present governor, Nyesom Wike, he was a young person. So, for them to have, for us in River State to have 2019, maybe people like youth coming into political offices, I can quit for 90% because they've been there as young people. They can also perform. They, two of them have thrown the weight behind the bill. It shows that fine, they are encouraging the Rivers youth to come up, to stand on the right, and to take the position when the need comes. The political terrain, we are aware, I think is peaceful. The way people sense it over here, the national or other state. River State is still peaceful till tomorrow. River State will continue to be peaceful. We are a state that has a peaceful people despite the way they have portrayed the state. When we talk about the River State being peaceful or not, it also lies on the youth. With our population, which is our strength, we can decide to take it up for 2019 in a peaceful manner and a honorable way. Thank you.
All right, so it brings forward the very needed part of the conversation, which is about political satisfaction. Now, when we think about the young people in the North, for example, people would say, oh, it's in the name of what you would be given, the cows, maybe the land, a little bit of what would preoccupy them. Seeing the fact that the northern part of the country, some young people still struggle to get educated or to follow through with a formal institution. Now, in River State, education is not much of a challenge as regards like a job. Now, there's a big difference between somebody looking for a job in other cities and looking for a job in Rivers. Apparently, a lot of young people in River State are inclined to think that they have a place in the oil sector. In other words, don't you think the young people in River State, if they get new campaign promises along the lines, especially from the elder populace or the elder politicians, telling them that for your political satisfaction, for it to happen, we will give you jobs in the oil sector, we will give you this, we will give you that. Do you think that offer could replace supposedly their political birthright? Because it's one thing for you to have a platform to run, is another thing to commit to using the platform to run.
Ms. Femi, to be very sincere with you, is the paramount duty of every government to provide job for her citizens. So if a particular group of people are saying that, okay, we need to give you a job for us for you to vote us for office, I think it has to be reviewed because it's the duty of the government to provide job for her citizens. Over there in River State, in fact in Nigeria, unemployment is a challenge. So you can't entice a youth that has passion for leadership with just providing him with a job. The political terrain, we all know, it's not easy to come into place when it comes to people trying to vie for political offices or getting tickets to vie for offices. But on that note, we need to get it right. If the youth in River State need to get it right, they shouldn't say the birthright. They should stand on what they want. In this case, giving them job whether in the oil sector or whichever end is the paramount duty of every government to do to her citizen.
One of the arguments that's being talked about, especially committed arguments when it comes to, oh, yes, young people are willing to run for office. Somebody said it to me, a politician said it to me. Well, we can always give you what you want as young people to possibly run for office. But then, do you have the resources to run for office? Do you have the resources to buy the farm? Do you have the resources to run the campaign? You may have the numbers, but you may not have the resources. So, for the likes of an independent candidate or somebody inclined to say, oh, now there's room for me to run as an independent candidate, alternative to all the other political parties that are registered or that are mainstream with other philosophies or ideologies mixed up, mashed up, not exactly clear and cut as regards what they want to achieve. How do you think a young person, that's one element, who wants to be an independent candidate can succeed or can possibly succeed in River State?